You heard it right, people. President Joe Biden is making history with the appointment of his cabinet, as it is being described as the most diverse cabinet in the history of the United States. Welcome to another video of Politics Unraveled. My name is Eileen and I make videos on all things American politics. Under his presidency, Joe Biden nominated the first Native American cabinet secretary, the first female national intelligence director, its first Latino chief of Homeland Security, and Pete Buttigieg will be the first openly gay cabinet member. Up until this very moment, the majority of Joe Biden's cabinet still needs to be confirmed by the Senate. However, last Friday, former General Lloyd Austin was confirmed to serve as Biden's Secretary of Defense. This will make Lloyd Austin the first African American to be in charge of the Pentagon. According to the president, this cabinet will be more representative of the American people than any other cabinet in history. I mean, can there be a bigger contrast between him and his predecessor? This brings us to the topic of this week, in which I want to discuss the United States cabinet, how the cabinet is formed, how its members are nominated and appointed by the Senate, and of course a little part about the history of the cabinet. So what exactly is a cabinet? A cabinet is a body made out of high-ranking officials. Members of cabinet are usually referred to as secretaries or ministers, and the function of a cabinet varies from country to country. In countries with a parliamentary system such as Belgium, Spain, the United Kingdom, the cabinet is a decision-making body that collectively decides the government's direction. In countries with a presidential system, however, such as the United States, the cabinet's role is merely to advise the president. The body, or the United States cabinet, consists of the vice president and the heads of the federal executive departments, such as state, defense, treasury, justice, and so on, and so on, and so on. In the United States, the 15 heads of the executive departments are referred to by the name secretary. The Attorney General is the head of the United States Department of Justice, and he is the only cabinet member who does not have the title of secretary. The cabinet also includes the White House Chief of Staff, the United States Ambassador to the United Nations, the Director of the National Intelligence Department, and other heads of department in the United States, bringing the total number of the cabinet to 25 members. Legally speaking, in both the presidential and the parliamentary system, the role of the cabinet is to advise its head of state. The difference, however, is that in a parliamentary system, the head of state will almost always follow the advice provided by the cabinet, whereas a president, who is also head of government, can choose to follow a different path when he does not agree with the advice provided to him by his cabinet. So how is a cabinet formed? Technically speaking, the president is not a member of the cabinet. However, he does get to appoint the members of his future cabinet. They then, after they are nominated by the president, need to be confirmed by the Senate. What usually happens is that the Senate's executive clerk refers the nominee to a specific Senate committee, which then investigates that nominee. For example, the nominee for Secretary of the Treasury Department will have to testify before the Senate's Finance Committee. Or, for example, the nominee for Secretary of State, who will be responsible for foreign policy, will have to appear in front of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. After this investigation, the committee will send a recommendation to the full Senate body, which in turn will vote on that specific individual nominated for cabinet, and a simple majority is needed in order to confirm that person for cabinet. Depending on the circumstances, the committee hearing can be bypassed, and in that case, the nominee will go straight to the Senate floor for a vote. As members of cabinet serve at the pleasure of the president can dismiss them at any time without needing the Senate's approval. As Joe Biden made his cabinet members also crystal clear when he swore them in, stating that he urged all of his staff to treat one another with respect or else, and I quote, "I will fire you on the spot."
And I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise you I will fire you on the spot. On the spot.
Everyone, every single person, regardless of their background, is entitled to be treated with dignity, as the president said. As a final part of the video, I wanted to talk a little bit about the history of the cabinet. The history of the cabinet goes way back to the first president of the United States, George Washington. During his presidency, Washington called meetings with his Secretary of State, his Secretary of Treasury, his Secretary of War, and the Attorney General to advise him. James Madison jokingly described these meetings as the President's Cabinet, and the nickname actually stuck. However, there was no explicit mention in the United States Constitution of a presidential cabinet. Article 2 of the Constitution does authorize the President to appoint ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls. Also, according to Article 2 of the Constitution, the President may require the opinion, in writing, of the principal officer of each of the executive departments. Taking these two sections of Article 2 together, the Constitution basically grants the President the authority to appoint executive department officials and to ask their advice on important policy matters. And so the cabinet is created. That being said, we have come to the end of yet another one of my videos. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, leave your feedback in the commentary section below, and we'll see each other in my next video. Bye!